Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Film Room, live here on the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. Episode number 2. This time we're going to be breaking down the Texas Rangers. They win their first ever World Series. As always, joining me to break down last night's game, Game 5, the game-clinching series win. As always, Jay McLovin. Jay, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing well. It hurts my heart. It hurts my heart to see a different team out there other than the Astros. But like I was saying to the wife yesterday, man, at least we got back-to-back Texas teams in the World Series. So it's a good day for Texas. Not a good day for Houston, but it's a great day for Texas as a state.
There you go. And Dustin Reese, who has been telling us all day and all night that he picked the Rangers to win the World Series since the beginning of the season. Dustin, I already know you're feeling good.
Annoying. He's so annoying.
You know, it's a good feeling.
It's a gift.
It's a really good feeling. You have a manager now who's third all time in World Series championships with 4. So now we can start talking about him in terms of one of the greatest postseason managers of all time, just for that feat alone.
And Dustin, you gave me a great idea for a future episode. Thank you, my friend. We're going to be doing that one in the all season, no doubt. All right, before we get started, just want to mention that obviously, as we are getting into this, going to be breaking it down. We don't own the rights to this, obviously. We weren't there filming this, so this is courtesy of MLB on ESPN. It's their footage. The link is in the bio, in the description, so go check out the video over there and go check it out. But without further ado, let's break down Game 5 highlights of the Rangers and the Diamondbacks from last night. Let's get it going. Bottom of the first inning, and a runner on first base, Mr. Corbin Carroll. As you can see, nice slide.
Yeah, he was way behind on that one.
And look at the old pro Longoria.
Oh, catch. Look at that
catch. Catch by Carter. If he would have missed that, that would have been a run easily. All right, Moreno tries for a bunt. Not fast enough.
The thing that people don't talk about, too, is you had guys like Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer were supposed to be the aces of this Texas staff.
It wasn't.
Now you have Nathan Eovaldi, who went 5-0 this postseason, and he's now 9-3 with like a 2.6 ERA in his postseason career. So now you're putting him up there with the likes of John Lester, the likes of Madison Bumgarner, and John Lackey as some of the more successful postseason pitchers.
So, guys, here's a key moment here in which Arizona should have capitalized. We know they lost 5-0, but you got runners on. You got 2 runners in scoring position, second and third, only 1 out. I mean, even if you just hit a deep fly ball, that helps out. But he strikes out.
That was a huge momentum changer.
And got him out of there. That was. So
96 on the black.
I was about to say he was pumping it all night. So we move forward to the top of the 4th inning here, still scoreless, and Zach Gallen on the mound pitching to Marcus Semien, who almost got it, but what a tremendous play there at short. Evan Carter, hot rookie, not so hot there, goes down swinging. Zach Gallen didn't have an awful night, just not quite as good as Eovaldi. The wily veteran, Evan Longoria.
Look at this. Oh, yep.
And just cruises in. Nice double. Like I said, 2 outs, but another man in scoring position for Arizona. Let's see if they can do something with him with Perdomo. And
that's just an unhittable pitch.
No, I mean, that is, and you can see, let's run it back here. I mean, you see the strike zone there on the screen. I mean, that is like picture
you can't even do nothing with that.
No.
Oh.
I mean, that is like beautiful Greg Maddux level pitching in pinpoint control. I get it's a close call, but you got to swing at something like that, especially with 2 outs.
Oh, yeah, you definitely got to swing at something like that.
All right, and here we go, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Big fly, but not far enough. Still scoreless through 5 innings. 4 2/3, actually. Bottom of the 5th here.
Once again, look at that. You got to swing at that. How are you not swinging at that?
Especially, look, if it's 3-2.
I mean, that is right in the heart. Like, you could launch that.
Well, it's not really right in the heart. That's like high bottom third.
No.
Look where the red dot is.
But the thing is, though, you're taught with 2 outs, though, swing anywhere close.
There's only 1 out right there, though.
Excuse me, 1. I meant 2 strikes.
Yeah, that is not right in the middle, Jay. That's like bottom.
I'm not saying it's right in the middle. It's on the outer edge. I'm just trying to. All I'm trying to say is that's in the heart of being able to knock it out the park.
It's in the strike zone.
Not with Moreno's swing path though. Moreno tries to swing at that. He's going to beat it into the ground for a double play. Moreno doesn't have an uppercut swing. He's got a straight across swing because he's a line drive hitter. There's nothing he can do with that.
We're moving to the 6th here. Still scoreless, by the way. This is a late scoring game. Marcus Semien goes down swinging. Once again, our strikeout there from Zach Allen. As we see him walking off the mound here. Texas, guys, look at this. Texas was scoreless through 6 innings.
That's crazy. Not only that, but they had a no-hitter going at that point.
Yeah. All right, so bottom of the 6th here. Longoria back to bat.
Oh.
Awful swing there. There's no. I mean, that I don't even know. You can't justify that one. That wasn't anywhere close to the strike zone.
But yeah, the whole ceiling fell off underneath that pitch.
All right. Evan Carter up to the dish. I mean, just hung the breaking ball. I mean, let's run this one back here real quick.
Yeah, you can't hang it like that.
He just got way too much of the plate. I mean, it's...
Oh, that's way too much.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that's almost middle of the plate. I mean, that's not far off at all. That's why Carter able to smash it into the gap there, almost to the gap. As you can see, Corey Seager moves on, and Carter with a nice double, moving guys over. 2nd and 3rd, no outs. And here's where Texas gets to roll in here. You score Corey Seager. They hold the runner at 3rd. They only got the 1 run.
Oh,
but look at
that. Look at that bender.
Look at this beautiful pitch here.
That is filth. All
right, so, I mean.
It starts like shoulder high inside corner and drops to the knees on the outside.
Hold on. So, that starts at probably almost his elbow, give or take, a little bit under.
Inside corner of the plate, too.
And it just
dies.
Falls. I mean, that is, you can't get any closer. That is right on the corner. And had Smith looking silly, which, I mean, rightfully so. That was a beautiful pitch.
I mean, I get why it locked him up because it
did.
I mean, that's almost like Stack was saying. That's almost like an unhittable pitch.
So, top of the 9th inning here, we got Jonah Heim at the plate. Runners on 2nd and 3rd. And let's see what happens here. Right there through the second baseman. And a complete error.
That's just not watching the ball into the glove.
And that did him in. I mean,
I guarantee you, when he was trying to field that ball, Logan, all he was thinking about is, I got to get it home. And to the point where he just didn't get it down far enough.
And that's the thing that we see with infielders, outfielders, etc., is you focus more on the throw when you got to focus on seeing it in. And that's
all he's doing. That's all that guy's thinking about is that throw home.
And the Bill Buckner Club has another victim.
Bill Buckner Club.
And that's it. That's run number 3.
Yeah, and by that time you knew already that game was over with, and I think they knew that game was over with.
I think that one kind of took the wind out of the sails because 1-0, that's an easy chance. You know what I mean? You got a fighting chance, but down 3-0 at this point, and I mean that really just hurts you. And now the finishing blow, Marcus Semien
knocking it out the park,
absolutely crushes it, and puts them up 5-0. Which
I understand the situation in that spot, but when Marcus Semien is 10 for 14 in his career against Paul Sewald, why don't you just put him on first base?
Yeah,
from an analytical standpoint, that would have been the better approach.
He's 10 for 14. You're only down 3-0 at that point. You have 2 outs. First bases. You have runners on 1st and 2nd. Then,
and here it is, the final out here. Ketel Marte, who was their hottest hitter the whole postseason, if not the hottest hitter, at the dish, trying to keep him alive. And just another breaking ball that just locks him up.
That is like,
I mean, that's at his shoulder. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, and it just falls into the top of the plate there. And that's it. So that was a masterclass in terms of pitching from the Texas Rangers. Just, obviously from these highlights here, They did a tremendous job. They got the timely hitting, and they also, guys, they did not lose a single road game in the entire playoff, which is insane. Oh man!
I think
And,
that just goes. I think that's just got to go back to Chris Young, the general manager, to put the team together. Not only did he get the right players, but he got the right manager for this team. And
no, he did.
I just don't know how much better could you put a team together that quickly to go from,
I'm gonna say they lost 100 games 2 years ago.
Yeah, where they went.
But we've talked about it before, Jay. They've always had.
Oh, I'm talking about the offense, but that pitching. Yeah.
It was always the one thing they were lacking was pitching. And then they went and got guys like John Gray and some of these other guys who they expected to pitch well, and they never did.
No,
so that was
you mentioned earlier
piece they were missing.
DeGrom wasn't there. Their best pitcher was not on the roster. Scherzer, who was supposed to come over and really help him out, he got hurt. He did decent, I guess you could say, but still not, the Scherzer we know. But man, they got it done. Whenever they signed Corey Seager and Marcus Semien, because those were the first big names that they got. I mean, they threw, I think, at least $500 million combined at those two guys. And we were thinking, Jay, I know we had just started out. We were wondering what's going on here, because that was when Texas had just lost 100 games, I believe it. And we were like, why would you want to go to Texas? They just what do they got going for them?
You have a ballpark where you can just put up ungodly offense.
Yeah, at Globe Life.
Well, and the thing about this too is that Chris Young put a team together. That this team really was built to win now, not later. Now, because DeGrom, Scherzer, of course, Seager's kind of starting to get. Yeah, if you look at this team across the board, these are older guys. This is not like like you got some young cats out there. I don't know how much longer Scherzer can pitch with that back issue that he has, and how much longer DeGrom can go. They're both older and injury prone. So, I think maybe they got one more title run in their belts, maybe two if you're lucky. But I think maybe one for sure, one more title run.
And also you mentioned kind of the veterans there. We also saw some guys who we had never heard of. Up till now, have some really good postseason success. Obviously, Adolis Garcia, who just beat the cover off the ball throughout the entire postseason. And also, Evan Carter, both those guys just come to mind for me. Two young guys, or two guys who we haven't really heard of if you don't follow Texas Rangers baseball closely, and just absolutely had the game, the series, of their careers, and it all just gelled and meshed together, and that's what you need for a World Series win. But before we give our final thoughts, I want to plug our guy Frankie Cruz, Frankie C, Frank, whatever you want to call him. He said Frankie the Yankee Show will be live later to talk more on the World Series and more. Which yes, he is. Just be tuned into our channels there. He also said, I heard Texas had new kings in that state. Just little shot at Jay, as always. It's all love. So, final thoughts on the World Series as a whole, Dustin Reese, as we now head into the offseason here in the MLB.
Well, I think it's safe to say this is going to go down as one of the more shocking and kind of one of the more surprising playoffs that we've seen in recent memory, especially when you look at virtually all the top seeds not even making it past that divisional round. And that's kind of why I think I will not be surprised, and I don't think any of you guys are going to be surprised if come the regular season next year you have a new playoff format. Whether it's adding more teams to it, whether it's finding out a way to keep these top seeds in the playoffs. Because ultimately, yes, it's good to see upsets every now and then. But when you put a playoffs together, you always want the two best teams in the World Series, because that's ultimately what fans want. Unless you're obviously a fan of a team that got eliminated, you want the two best teams to play for the championship at the end. Texas, I can live with, because they were one of the best teams in baseball pretty much the entire year up until that final month of the season. Arizona, different story. They were a team that got hot at the right time, pretty much like the Phillies did last year, pretty much like the Padres did last year, and they rode that hot streak all the way into the World Series. You can't sit here and tell me that the Diamondbacks are a better team than the Braves, the Dodgers, the Brewers, or the Phillies, because there's nobody on their right mind that's going to say the Diamondbacks are better than those teams. It's just that they were playing better at the end of the year when it matters the most. And that's why I think changes to the playoff format are coming. It might not come until 2025 when the CBA expires, but I do expect changes to that playoff format to come just to help guarantee that, well, not guarantee, but just to help make sure that these best teams are going to be in the World Series every single year. You're going to have upsets, yes, but you gotta have at least an opportunity for these 100-win teams to at least be playing for the championship.
All right. And Jay McLovin, your final thoughts on baseball as a whole in 2022, 2023.
Yeah, I don't really agree with anything that Dustin said. No offense, Dustin, I love you to death, but I don't agree with any damn thing you just said. I think you do have the best teams in there. They're the best teams because they're the division leaders. And then not only that, but then you get the wild cards, which are the best under the table better teams. So I don't know how much better you think you're actually getting, because if they were better, then they would have had a better record. And the fact that they didn't have a better record means that you got the best teams in there. Now, all you're really doing by adding teams, you're just adding some more subpar teams. And hopefully, quote unquote, like you said, that if they get hot, they can go to the top. And then when they get to the top, you're still going to crush them down and say, well, you're not the best team. You may be in the freaking World Series, but you're not the better team. I'm sorry. That makes absolutely zero sense to me. That,
you say the same thing about
hold on. If I get to the World Series, don't sit there and say I'm not the best team. Because if you think there's a better team out there, why aren't they in the damn postseason? And don't tell me because, well, they just didn't get hot. No. You either get there or you don't get there. There's no consolation prizes in this damn sport that we call baseball. You either got it or you don't. And they didn't have it. So the better team was there. Plain out and simple. Because that's why we have wild cards.
Then why are you saying Houston was a better team than Texas the whole series?
Oh, I didn't say that. I didn't say Houston was better than Texas.
Yeah, you did. We got film that we got episodes that we can go back on that.
I'm saying all I'm saying is that we were not the better team. Houston does have a good team, and we'll probably be back in there at some point. I mean, you don't have 7 consecutive ALCSs and think you're a bad team, but this specific time, no, we just weren't because we lost. I did going in. Hey, you can go back however far you want to go back. And I did, in my mind, I did think Houston was a better team. But when we played the best of the best, it turns out I was wrong. And we weren't the better team. So to your point, you're right. But also to your point, you're wrong. This depends on how you look at it.
And we'll table this, gentlemen. We'll table this. And if you guys want to go into it in the off season, you're more than welcome to. But this has been the Film Room episode number 2, talking about the Texas Rangers. They have won their first ever World Series in franchise history. Took over 60 years, but they have got it done. And like I said, congrats to everyone on that team. Yes, was a absolute fun show. And Frankie has said in the comments, if you guys are welcome, he wants this fire on the show. So you guys get with Frankie behind the scenes. And once again, tune in to Frankie the Yankee Show coming up here in just a little bit on the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network for more talk about the World Series and baseball as a whole. As always, Jay McLovin, Dustin Reese, pleasure talking sports with you, my friends. I will talk to y'all again. But hey, we'll see you all again on another live episode of the Elite Sports and